This is OwlUp, where learning happens in minutes, not hours. For a deeper journey, explore all our courses at owlup.co. Now, let's dive in. Welcome to Chapter 0 of Travel Hacking: See the World for Less, where we're kicking things off by answering the big question: what exactly is travel hacking, and why should you care? We'll break down how ordinary people are using smart strategies to fly business class to Europe for the price of a nice dinner, and why this might be the game changer your wanderlust has been waiting for. Let's get into it. More Americans now earn airline miles buying groceries than flying on planes. You're at the checkout, scanning your card like any other day, but in the background, you're quietly buying tiny pieces of first-class seats and luxury hotels. The trick is learning to control that system. More than 100 million people in the US already carry a travel rewards card, but most of the value those cards can unlock never gets used. Banks and airlines are fine with that. That breakage is part of their profit model. You're swiping, they're winning, and the gap between what you could get and what you actually get can be thousands of dollars a year. This is where travel hacking really starts, not with chasing every shiny bonus, but with seeing the invisible prices and levers behind your everyday spending. One flight can cost $400 in cash, or the rough equivalent of $80 in carefully earned and redeemed points. Same seat, same plane, radically different cost to you. In this series, we'll unpack how those levers work, why some points are far more valuable than others, and how to rewire your normal financial habits to work in your favor. Most people treat points like loose change in a junk drawer. Nice if you stumble on some, but not worth organizing. Yet behind every program is a set of rules, bonuses, and sweet spots that quietly decide whether your balance buys a weekend hop or a live flatbed across an ocean. This series is about learning those rules without turning your life into a spreadsheet. We'll zoom in on how banks, airlines, and hotels actually make money on loyalty, then zoom out to see where their incentives misalign with yours and how to sit right in that gap. Here's the first mental shift. You're not collecting free trips. You're dealing with a private currency system run by airlines, hotels, and banks, and the rules are written to confuse you just enough that you leave value on the table. That system has three moving parts you need to see clearly. First, how points are created. Airlines and hotels now make billions selling miles to banks. When you see a 70,000 point sign-up bonus, that's not generosity, it's a marketing cost. Banks buy those points in bulk, then dangle them to steer your everyday spending. This is why credit card bonuses quietly dwarf what most people earn by actually traveling. Second, how points are priced. Some programs quietly tether their point values to cash prices. Southwest and JetBlue are classic examples. When fares rise, the points cost rises in lockstep, and your value per point more or less stays the same. Others use semi-fixed charts. Hyatt is a good example, where a standard room might cost a predictable band of points regardless of the cash rate. On a cheap night, paying cash usually wins. On a peak holiday, a fixed chart can save you hundreds. Third, how points are devalued. Because this is a private currency, the issuer can change the rules with an email. Award charts go up, perks shrink, partners disappear. That 70,000 stash you were saving for later quietly buys less every year. Hoarding feels safe, but in this game, it's often the riskiest move. To navigate all this, you don't need to memorize every detail. You need a simple hierarchy of value. Think of it like a playlist. Some tracks, programs, are your headliners, flexible points that transfer to many partners and often unlock premium cabins or high-end stays. Others are background music, fine for simple trips, but rarely where you park large balances. The exploratory part is testing where each program shines: a short domestic hop, a transatlantic business seat, a peak season city hotel. Over time, you're not just collecting points, you're steering your spending and redemptions toward the handful of routes and properties where the math is consistently in your favor. Think of two friends planning a trip. One opens their airline app, types in dates, accepts the first points price they see, and feels smug they used miles. The other pauses and tests 3 different routes, 2 dates, and a partner airline that doesn't even operate the final flight. Same starting balance, radically different outcome. One gets a cramped 6 a.m. departure, the other a sane midday flight plus cash saved for the actual vacation. Concrete example. Someone with bank points could funnel them to a domestic carrier for a simple non-stop, or instead, route them to an overseas partner where the same balance covers a much longer itinerary in a nicer cabin. Or skip flights entirely and aim those points at a peak season city hotel, turning New Year's in a capital, when cash prices explode, into a modest points outlay. In music terms, you're not just pressing play. You're remixing routes, dates, and partners until the cost matches the trip you actually want. A paradox is emerging. The more digital your trips become, the less you'll see what they cost. Dynamic pricing algorithms, biometric boarding, one-tap wallets, all push the real price of your choices further into the background. Your edge will come from treating this like an ongoing experiment, testing when to earn versus burn, when to shift routes or cabins, when to pivot programs entirely. Think like a musician layering tracks. Subtle changes now can remix your future travel options. Your challenge this week. Pick one upcoming trip, real or hypothetical, and price it 3 ways: cash, cash plus a basic card, and a stretch version using a new program you've never tried. Note how the options shift, like swapping routes on a map. The goal isn't perfection yet. It's training your eye to notice alternate paths every time you travel. This was OwlUp, your daily step forward. This series continues with more chapters on OwlUp.co. Visit OwlUp.co to access the complete course and continue your learning journey. See you there!